Doc had kind of said your fourth quarter is the difference between an average player and a great player. Like an average player cannot have it going for the first three quarters and then not find a way to impact the game in the fourth
Yeah.
quarter. You did. Just what did you kind of find in that fourth quarter and kind of what kind of gave you the confidence to keep doing your thing?
I mean, I think for me, it's never a matter of confidence. I think I'm always there with my confidence. Sometimes it's just, your rhythm. Today, I didn't feel great. I've been feeling a little bit just exhausted and, kind of nursing a few things over the last week and a half. And then, long All-Star break, I didn't really have a break. So um, I knew it coming in that it was going to be more of a mental game for me. And then, I started out struggling shooting the ball. And the whole time, I just was telling myself, you just got to stay in the game. Scoot came in off the bench and gave us great minutes. Jericho gave us great minutes. Giannis had a big run for us. GT had a moment to start the game when we were struggling scoring points. TP hit big shots. Brooke hit big shots. I mean, we had a really good team effort going, even though we weren't having the best night. Everybody was still pushing along. And I was just trying to be part of that. And I knew, and I always tell myself, you're going to come up big at some point. So you got to make sure that your mind is in the game to give that a chance. And when I checked back into the game, I was able to hit a shot. I think I hit my first shot when I came back in. And then a couple possessions later, Brooke was up at the level, and I, kind of was playing the backside, and I ended up getting a steal. And then Kuz get an and one, and, I think it's something that I think over the course of my career I've always been great at, and just understanding that your mind has to always be in the game, even when you're frustrated, even when it's not going your way. And I'm always thinking that I'm gonna have an opportunity to come up big. And like Doc said, I pride myself on that being a separator for me, is being able to have a hard game, struggle a little bit, but I think on their end, their staff probably knew the whole time, like, it doesn't mean anything because he has a reputation for coming up big regardless of what type of game he's having.
I guess just defensively, those final 9 minutes, what do you feel like you guys found that allowed you to really shut them down, start getting blocks, turnovers, shot clock violations, kind of all that?
We just stepped our game up. I think that's what it comes down to. I think we had a horrible stretch in the third quarter where we let them take over the game. And then down the stretch of the game, I just thought we were more physical. We were into the ball more. We helped each other. I thought we were pushing the ball at them offensively, putting pressure on their defense, and that helped our defense. Brooke was protecting the paint. We gang rebounded. We rebounded the ball, and we didn't give them extra opportunities, and we sustained it. I thought our zone really helped us. It, kind of made them a little bit stagnant and playing more on the perimeter. And, we was able to, like I said, hold on to that for the, remaining minutes of the game.
Bobby obviously gets suspended today. Just with Bobby's suspension today, just kind of what was that like finding that out, and what are you guys gonna miss when he's not out there?
Bobby is a huge part of our team and a huge part of our success. Just emotionally, his energy, his voice, and obviously what he brings on the floor. When he comes off the bench, you're gonna get that 15, 16 points. You're gonna get 8 to 10 rebounds. You're gonna get the crowd into the game. It's just something different that Bobby brings to the game for our team, and it's really important. So when you hear news like that, obviously it's a hit to our team, but we're all professionals, and we know that we got to hold it down for him, and make sure that we stay on track for when he does come back. I think it'll make us a better team because we'll have to find a way without him.
Hey, Dame, I know it's difficult to compare one year's team compared to the previous year's team, but these Clipper games in Milwaukee, it's been similar. Big fourth quarters, turnarounds, comebacks, that kind of thing. What did you feel was difficult for you as you went through this game, and just how were you, especially getting fouled, how were you able to overcome that against this year's team?
I mean, they they got a lot of like-sized guys on their team, so they switch a lot of the actions. And I think anytime you play a team that's switching everything, it can disrupt your offense, because it's taking you out of your actions. You're not seeing coverages that you can kind of exploit. It's just it can turn it into isolation games, and they kind of just caught us out there like that. You don't want to play that game, so I think that was part of it. A lot of times in our execution, I could find gaps within our offense or within what we're trying to do. And tonight it was just different, and I didn't want to, just be breaking off every possession, going one-on-one. So I thought their ability to switch a lot of those things was disruptive to our offensive rhythm and sometimes to my rhythm. And then when the ball's not going in, that doesn't help. So, I thought they just did a good job. They were up into the ball. When they did switch, sometimes they ran a guy at me. Sometimes they were just loaded up, and took away those gaps that I can usually get into. And, that was it. And I've seen that type of stuff long enough to where I know you just got to, like I said before, you just got to keep your mind in the game. And eventually something is going to break through. I don't think any defense is going to be at the highest level for a full game. You're always going to be able to find a crack in there, and if your mind is not in it, you're not going to be prepared when it does come. And down the stretch, like I said, I came back in the fourth. I saw the first one go in. The entire game, they had been really aggressive pursuing over ball screens. So I knew that they were going to be chasing me hard, and I was going to be able to, stop and pull up for a three, and the guy was going to run into me, and I was able to get him to do that twice. So it's just a matter of staying engaged and not being discouraged by, a team doing good things defensively, especially as a scorer and as a player who is able to, control and dominate games on that end of the floor. You gotta just keep trusting, and you gotta stay with it, and that's all I did tonight. I mean, I thought, in that first half, we came out, start the game, we struggled to score. It was a pretty low-scoring game for the most part. And I just think his creativity, his ability to break guys down and get into the paint, and the confidence and the swag that he has, you need guys to be able to come in and give you that punch when it's not a great night for your team. And I thought he came in and did that.
Typically when we get to the All-Star break, you get back from the All-Star break and it's like, all right, let's use this to get our momentum going for the playoffs. You're going to play 25 games without one guy that you think is going to be a big contributor for you in the playoffs. How strange is that to kind of think about, handle? Like, we're going to be doing a bunch of hopefully good stuff for 25 games and then 4 games with this dude, and then we're going to get back in the playoffs with him. Like, how do you try to handle that mentally?
I just think you take it a game at a time. I think anytime you start to think that far ahead, you putting stress on yourself that has not even come yet. So for us, it is what it is. We know that he will be gone for 24 games now. And we just got to try to focus on getting the job done. I think the good thing is we know who Bobby is to our team. We know what he brings. It's not like we're plugging in a new player. I think that would make it different. And just from teams that I've seen over the course of my career where, 1 year I remember we played the Spurs 4 times. And each time we played them, it seemed like nobody was playing. They had guys in and out and not playing for stretches. And guys that hadn't been playing as much had to get in, and they had to grow, and they had to learn. The team had to learn to depend on them. And I think in the playoffs, you need to have depth, and you need to be able to trust guys. So I think that's one thing that it will give us is, we're going to find out over these next 24 games what we actually have, and who we can trust and what situations we can trust and who can help us and how they can help us, depending on who we end up matched up against and things like that. So I think that has to be the mentality. And, once those games are over, you cross that bridge when you get there. But the most important thing is to make sure that we get the ball going in the right direction. And I think tonight was a really good start for that.